Everybody wants to know what I would do if I didn't win. I guess we'll never know.
Welcome to another episode of the Culture Podcast, soccer podcast for us, by us. Talk about the intersection of black culture and soccer. Got your boy here, Greggo here. Got Mean Marc down here. What's good with you, bro?
Good, I'm good, man. Watching Chelsea struggle against Watford, but 3 points is better than 1, I guess.
I mean, it's better than 4-1, so it can't be all that bad, man. I see you with the OG Chelsea shirt. I see you, champ.
Yo, it's amazing what you find Goodwill. Over here. My roommate, she's good at finding, stuff like this at Goodwill. So came home with this one day. I was like, I owe you.
Cool. And of course, to my right over here, we got the big brother L, 2 Cents FC. What's good with you, bro?
Just trying to stay alive. Down when it's cold right now. So,
battling. Oh no, you good, man. I'm just trying to figure, have y'all made it through all the Thanksgiving leftovers yet? Y'all I don't want to cook, but
Thanksgiving leftovers. I don't know about nobody else, but I'm not touching.
Shit, I didn't make it weekend. I was like, I'm hungry. I'll feel like cooking. Yeah, it's done. Done.
Yeah, I think yesterday morning I had the last of my leftovers for breakfast. I wish I could have that. That could be my breakfast all the time. Yeah.
I gotta give a shout to the homie Mayor Kane. Like every year, he does the fried turkey for his family. And of course, he makes sure it's if I'm in town, I give me a couple of pieces and everything. It's always a good work. Man. Shout out to Mayor Kane for that. But yeah, man, it's we back at it. Thanksgiving week has passed, and we get into the knee deep of the MLS playoffs, and it's just a whole lot going on in the streets and the culture, man. We're going to get into that too, man. Of course, thank you guys for checking us out on your favorite podcast apps: Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Audio Boom, Anchor, and of course, make sure you like and subscribe to the FTC YouTube channel, and also 2 Cents. And we talked about this a little bit last week with Ty and Sky. That actually rhymes. That was totally not on purpose. But the playoffs here with MLS have actually been turning up really, really well, and it was no different this week with the conference semifinals. Got some upsets, man. The 1 seeds here, we'll see y'all next year, man. Colorado and New England, they are donezo, and in the most craziest ways. So I don't know if did y'all happen to see Colorado, Seattle on Thanksgiving? Because I tried to. My family wasn't quite having it, so I tried to flip, back and forth when I could. What about y'all?
Nah, I was out of town, so I wasn't in my normal environment.
You had control of the TV,
right?
Oh man, you know what I love about being with Caribbean people? You could put soccer on Thanksgiving, and it's not a problem. I was with my sister and her friends. And, for those of you who don't know, I'm from Trinidad. And so, a bunch of Trinis. It was traditional football inside on the TV, but they had another TV outside. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to make this TV mine. And they ended up watching it anyway. So
there you go. I mean, it's, of course, it's a little disappointing because, of course, our boy Robert Frazier leading Colorado. That means he's out. But Seattle once again. Not Seattle. They're already out. Portland is on the way to the conference finals with a last-minute goal in the 90th minute. I mean, not only did you brave the cold in Colorado, team lost at the last minute. That's just cold blood. Like you did this on a Thanksgiving. Like you couldn't have been like on a Friday or Saturday. They said like we're gonna get you out of your house, out of your comfort zone, and you know what? Your team lost.
That's so lit though that they had a game on Thanksgiving. I actually didn't know that was supposed to happen.
No, it's the first time. It's the first time they did it, and actually, it ended up being a record-setting game on for MLS because like it's like the most watched game since like Freddie Adu's debut for DC United like back in like 2004. So like I think it was like almost 2 million people watched the game, and like it was a pretty big deal.
So more than Beckham's debut?
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, like it's funny because like I've advocated for a while that they should at least do MLS Cup on Black Friday, and honestly, like I think with the way that this game turned out here, I'm pretty sure they're like, okay, like if we can do this for just a conference semifinal, what if we could figure out a way to move MLS Cup to either Thanksgiving Day, Black Friday, at the very latest Saturday, which I probably won't want to do Saturday because that's still college football and everything. But Thanksgiving Day, Black Friday, that's your money day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think Black Friday would be kind of a weird day because people were out. They're typically out around that time.
Mm-hmm.
Thanksgiving, everybody's in the house. Everybody's in front of the TV. So that probably helped the numbers. But
yeah,
Black Friday it's time to go shopping. Like whether you online or out in the streets. So I think the numbers wouldn't be as good.
It wouldn't be as good, but at the same time, I think they would be better than like you put it like on that Saturday or definitely that Sunday. And like even like when I first thought of it, I was like, I didn't think that Thanksgiving Day was a possibility because of course I figured with all the football on Thanksgiving Day, it just wouldn't be possible. But Fox they put the game right after the Lions and Bears, and yeah, it just happened to work out pretty well because like even though you had like a lot of people move from Lions Bears to the Cowboys game, of course, shout out to the Raiders for winning. But yeah, like it's definitely something to where like now that it's possible, it's like okay, how do we really make this work to where we can really showcase our feature game of the season on this weekend? So like it won't shock me, of course, with everything coming up in the next couple of years with World Cup coming up next year, and just all the schedule flux. It'll be interesting to see like how they work it out. But I don't see this going away anytime soon. Where they'll definitely be making sure that if they can get a game on Thanksgiving Day, they'll do that.
One thing I have to give credit to MLS for, and I guess by extension, like U.S. soccer to a degree for this, like I've always said that eventually that you're going to have to go up against the other sports. Like I know the thinking is like, avoid competing with football, basketball, whatever. But like eventually you just have to like believe in your product and put it on a day that you think your fans will watch. And
right.
So like, it's all about building your fan base, and I think you see the growth, I mean, even like seeing this Colorado Stadium full on Thanksgiving, like that's good for MLS. That's a good look, so I think more of that, like, I think that was actually very creative and it was a shrewdly good move by MLS to have that game on Thanksgiving.
I mean, that's something that the argument I usually use because like I'm a big advocate for switching the calendar up, and because like my thing is like, why would you put MLS Cup up against college football, NFL, most of the playoffs? Because that's why you end up with so many midweek games, because they know that on the weekends the audience is going to be elsewhere, and and I'm like, the competition that you get with the NBA, NHL, Major League Baseball in the spring is nothing like what you would get going against the NFL, like because you can kind of treat it like how the NBA does, like where nobody watches the NBA during like the winter months up until like Christmas Day or the All-Star break. And I'm like, by that point, they've already played like 30 games. Like, I don't see why you couldn't apply the same logic with MLS to where you still have like you play your first half and like of course it's still on TV, but it's not as heavily promoted because they know that they're up against football on Fridays and Saturdays. But I know USL is trying to do that. It'd probably be a TBD when it comes to what MLS decides to do on that. But like I said, we'll see what happens there. And but also up in the playoffs, of course. You said you were up in Nashville on Thanksgiving. They probably had a lot more going on that day than it did up against Philly because they at least got Philly to the PKs, but when they got the PKs, Nashville was like, "We're going back to Nashville because we ain't got nothing for it." Because they pulled a straight donut, 0 for 4 in the shit. Like I don't even think I've ever seen a team just go straight donut.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Maybe Chelsea versus Liverpool one of those years, 07, I think, or something. In a bad shootout, I think. Okay. But I think they made one of those penalties.
Right. I've seen like where it's like been like one, but like and then they just crapped the bed otherwise. But never nothing to where it's like, yeah, you just got shut out because I mean Andre Blake, he got 2 saves, and then the other 2 they just like skied out into I think that's the Delaware River up there, up in Chester. I'm not sure, but yeah.
Yes, right. Yeah,
I know my geography, but yeah. Otherwise, yeah, that was just a definite. We'll see y'all next year.
Yeah.
Hey, shout out to Nashville for making it that far. But, certain situations your team ain't built for them, so it's a learning experience for them. They'll come back stronger. They're actually like a surprisingly, I don't want to say surprisingly, but they've been a good team since they come in the league. Like they've been solid. They always play us well. Us meaning Atlanta United.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like they're going to continue to kind of build on top of that. And so making it this far, I don't think they've ever made it this far in the playoffs. So it's building and stacking. So, salute to them.
I mean, of course, when we went up to Louisville, we actually passed by the where the new Nashville Stadium is going to be. I think it's like over there by where the fairgrounds is in Nashville. And I mean, it looks like it's going to be pretty dope. So like, of course, we're trying to make sure that we're out there. I think it's like next May when the stadium opens up, and like I'm looking forward to seeing like what this next step in the progression of Nashville and soccer becomes. Because yeah, it's like for those of y'all that don't really know, like just like this, just how they kind of got up to here, like just going like from UPSL up to USL and then up to MLS, like it was relatively quick, but at the same time, it's like, yeah, like it's been pretty dope to see, like, just coming from the ground up to where they are now. But I think like the only, I don't even say it's, I guess anytime you have Real Salt Lake go deep into the playoffs, I think it's just a Cinderella run by default. Cause like nobody ever really thinks about, RSL, they're not the team from like 10 years ago with Jason Christ and Kyle Beckerman and everything. It's like, like you just don't think about that kind of stuff. And then, but here they are, they stun Sporting KC on the road, and here they are in the conference spot to take on Portland. Stranger things have happened. Like what like did y'all catch that game by chance?
I did catch that one. Of all the playoff games, I caught that one. And I'm lightweight rooting for him. Like RSL has ran through these playoffs with their hands in their nuts. Or their nuts in their hands.
Their goalkeeper.
Like, I love
their goalkeeper. That's all that whole attitude right there. That's all that.
Dude. He reminds me of Emi Martinez.
Yeah.
During Copa America. Was it Copa
Mhm.
America, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he reminds me of him. So let that
Ain't
go.
been doing it all
I wanna see him
year.
go deep.
It's been cool to see just them making this run and just they slaying giants. They slayed Seattle, they slayed SKC, and now they got to go up to Portland and see if they get it done and make it. I didn't realize they've been to 3 MLS Cups. I thought they just only been to the one where they beat Beckham in LA and everything. But yeah, it's gonna be real interesting. And of course, if y'all didn't catch the game Tuesday night last night with New England and NYCFC, man, y'all missed a doozy on that one.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we talked about this a couple weeks ago, like why, because the word was like articles like Bruce Arenas like it's only about MLS Cup. Fuck the supporter shield.
Right.
We just want MLS Cup. Now you know why he was talking about that, because now their season's done. And shout out to our homie Annie on Twitter, because like he made the most prophetic point. It's like nothing but facts. You don't get a parade for supporter shield. Like everyone that tries to make supporter shield, all important and everything, you don't get a parade for it. So can it really be that important?
They try every year. Every year we have go around the same arguments. Oh, that's how they do it in other leagues. Oh, like the regular season matters. Like, no, it matters to a degree. Like, if Atlanta United picked up a few more points and a couple more home games in the playoffs, could have turned out differently for them. So, like, obviously those results matter. But at the end of the day, we all trying to get to MLS Cup. Let's be real about it. You know what I mean? And you can't have, like, this horribly unbalanced schedule where you don't even play half the teams in the league anymore. So, like, that's not a fair criteria. Like, sorry. So, just MLS Cup playoffs is great. That's what makes the league unique. Like, just embrace it. Just go with it.
Yeah, like Mark said, this ain't other leagues, and it never will be. So stop trying to make that comparison.
Yeah.
They're not changing it. So just.
I mean, as much as you could change it. I mean, I don't see a space like where you get rid of playoffs and like you can modify it, but it's not going away. And I think that as long as that's a thing to where you're basically like you're in the flow of the season and it progresses to a championship final, that's always what's going to be about in this country, because they have it in all the leagues. That's probably the one American thing that we've taken that I think in a lot of ways works. I mean, like because at the most you fix it and there's fewer teams that way. Those fights for playoff spots get even more aggressive. But other than that, once you're in there, it's like, how can you beat us? And I said this last week. I did not think the one-off playoff knockouts would work, and it's worked, and it's worked so good because you've had these dramatic moments, like you see New England get knocked out after having a record-setting year and off of PKs, and that's despite going down twice in the game, because they went down really early in the first half, tied it up within 10 minutes, and then went all the way to extra time. New York scores again. New York loses a man. New England ties it up, and then still with all that, the beautiful agony of a shootout. It just happens that way.
Hey, I'm always rooting for the chaos. Like, I want to see different teams. You
know
what I'm saying? I don't want to always see a Pacific Northwest team from the West. And
you know what the funny thing about that is, like
Atlanta or somebody in the East. Like, I want to see different teams.
The funny thing about that is, like, aside from, I think it was like 1 year, I can't even think of who that was. It's basically been like the Pacific Northwest in like 4 out of 5 MLS Cups in a row. Like it's could have either been Seattle or Portland, and like they pretty much been running shit out west. Like even when they don't have strong seasons, it always comes through come playoff time, and there you go. Like, and here we are. Even with Seattle going out early, you still have Portland a game away from MLS Cup, and it's going to make for a very interesting Final Four. Like, so we are down to conference finals this weekend. We got Portland and RSL out in the West. We got Philly and NYCFC out in the East. For those of y'all that don't know, and something that, of course, this just caused so much hilarity on the socials last night, it was announced that if NYCFC wins the East and makes it to MLS Cup, that means MLS Cup will be in Yankee Stadium. Now, of course, you heard us bitching about Yankee Stadium on last week's show. So the fact that
right over there to Harrison and play in a proper stadium, proper football stadium, they're not playing at Yankee Stadium.
That's what they said. I'm just like, of course, I'm like you. I'm like, you would really, because like, and I made this point on the socials last night. I'm like, a smart person would just say, hey, it should be on a proper pitch. Go to Harrison and have the final there. But you have these MLS execs who think that, yeah, we could have a final in Yankee Stadium, that, you know, and the house that Babe Ruth and Derek Jeter built, and like
it's not even the real. God,
right.
Yeah. Just adding to the absurdity of it all. I mean,
exactly.
I agree with y'all, right? And like, so yes, to us, the rational thing is you wouldn't have a soccer league's final on a baseball pitch. But the fact is that we've been having games on this baseball pitch for way longer than, I mean, it should have never happened, right? And then it's like every 2 years, they're like, oh, we're going to get a new stadium. We have this thing locked in. And then it never comes through. And then it's another year in Yankee Stadium. We're splitting it with New Jersey in the middle. Yeah, I mean, with Red Bulls in the middle of Jersey. Like, come on, man. So, I mean, it sounds logical to us or illogical, but I just feel like, especially, like you said, those MLS execs, those people based in New York, that's what's driving this. You know, that's what's driving this obsession to have a team in New York, even though they're on an effing baseball field. It just infuriates me. It's my single biggest pet peeve about MLS. Is that a time with Inter Miami's just general mess? I just hate these vanity projects. And so yeah, I can see people like talking it up as a good thing, but I think anybody, like people like us, or really anybody outside of the U.S. would be like, that's embarrassing.
Yeah, it's crazy to kind of see this kind of like unfold. And mind you, like I said, we talked about this last week, just like how close they were with getting a deal done, and they broke down like over parking decks. And it's like the stuff that, you know, from the outside looking in, it's like it's just so trivial. But of course, you know that building in New York is just hard as shit. And
local politics is a bitch in New York.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, I don't know what's going to take for them to get that. It's a whole rabbit hole for us to go through another day. But that in itself is chaos. That in itself. Because yeah, I think that for as much as the MLS might as a feather in its cap, it's like, yeah, then you actually have to play the game, and you realize, oh my God, this looks horrible.
I think if that ends up happening, that'll be a catalyst for neutral site MLS Cups.
You know what? You're right. You're definitely right, and that's something that, like at least like the last 5 years, like even like with the year that we went to the MLS Cup, I think that the league is in a space now to where I think that if nothing else, I think they can have a neutral site final and people show up. Like if you say, okay, we're going to have like every 3 years, we're going to have finals in Vegas, Miami, and LA. People will show up and they'll make that shit like a real spectacle to see.
You got to put Atlanta in there because of capacity.
Yeah. Even like if we have another final like we did the other year, I don't know about that because that thing was horrible. but I definitely feel you on that because I'm like, yeah, definitely just given the popularity here, definitely be too big to miss out on. But so like, how are we looking on picks? Like, so I said, how are we looking out west?
I'm gonna go RSL.
Okay. What you got, Mark?
I want to see the ownerless team win a cup. Imagine what kind of evaluation they're gonna put on that.
That seems to be the trend this year. So
I was gonna say, yeah. I mean, that's a big part of the RSL story is getting a problematic dude out of here. So they did that. Team's thriving. I just want to see Portland get Portland. You know what I'm saying? Like we see Portland do this every time. You imagine if someone did it to them. Like right. RSL took no shots at 120 minutes versus Seattle. I still don't understand like how, but yeah, RSL all the way, man.
Okay, I will go Portland just for. I can't have a Yankee Stadium MLS Cup final. I'm like, and right now Portland has the high card on hosting. If they win, they host. So, and then just a general visual of Portland hosting an MLS Cup would actually probably be really, really dope. So yeah, I sorry to the Philly people who are like, what about us? But I'm like, I need an MLS Cup in a proper stadium and in a dope ass atmosphere. Portland will give me that. So I got them out west. And so how are we looking on for the East?
I'm gonna go Philly. Just because Tati is out for this game.
Yeah, Castellanos will be out for he got a red card in the extra time.
I think Philly will take it. They're too much of a cohesive team to like fold at this point. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully they don't fold at this point. But I feel like they're a strong, cohesive team, so they have the chance to really take it over the edge. And would this be their first MLS Cup?
Yep.
Or first MLS Cup appearance? Yeah,
so pretty sure. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, either way, it's going to be a first time for whatever team goes. But
yeah.
I think Philly deserves it more. I think like NYCFC kind of like fumbled their way and to a degree. Like,
yeah,
you know, they definitely showed up in the playoffs and like handled business and did it in the most chaotic way. But I feel like Philly deserves it the most, just for consistency across the entire season.
Mm-hmm. What you got, Mark?
Yeah, I'm gonna agree with L again. I mean, I'm definitely biased like towards Philly and against New York. But I like what Jim Curtin's done with this team over the years, and I like the kind of ball that they play. You know, we see Brendan Aronson doing it in New York. I was there when he scored his first goal in Mercedes-Benz.
Yeah, that's right. That's right, he did.
You know, so it was a nice little moment. But yeah, I'm gonna go with Philly. I for the kind of similar reasons that Elle said. Like, I think like Philly has more of an identity, and I just think that Bill, I could rely on them more in a big moment.
Jim Curtin is a survivor. That's really all I can say there is that because like he went through some years where people like really questioned whether or not that whole project was going to work. Because of course he predates when Ernie Stewart came in. They really just grinded through with it, and here they are, a step away from MLS Cup. Of course, they won the Supporters Shield last year, and you know that progression is just continued. And like I said, I can't have MLS Cup at Yankee Stadium as much as it sounds nice on paper. That just can't happen. And like I said, so I got to have Portland versus Philly for me. And I said that should be a pretty dope final if that comes to fruition. Of course, if it does, we will talk about that and give a pretty decent preview next week. But speaking of managers, great announcement came last week after we recorded the show last week. Ezra Hendrickson, coach, he was assistant coach in Columbus. He's also been assistant in Seattle. He just got recently named the head coach in Chicago, with the Chicago Fire. And of course, black head coach, trying to get those numbers up in the league, man. Like, how are you feeling about this, man?
Yeah, I think it's dope. Definitely want to see more of it. I'm interested to see, what he could bring to the table. Hopefully he's successful. I'm praying that he's successful. Just for the sake of, we don't really get a lot of chances. So if you fail once, it's hard to get another chance. It's hard to fail forward or fail into another head coaching job. So definitely want him to be successful. Except for when they're playing Atlanta.
It's what it is, player.
Like, I don't want to see Robin Fraser continue to be successful as well. Like, take it to the next level next season. Hopefully the Cronkies, give them some money to
give one of your teams money.
I doubt it, but hopefully they give them something, and hopefully we see more, black coaches in the league.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm really excited about just the fact that it's Chicago, because we've had Jake and Phil from Black Fires on the show at multiple times, and they're trying to get the black community out in for to support the Fire. I think this is a big step in just hopefully changing the identity, hopefully encouraging the community to come out and support the Fire. Of course, with them moving to Soldier Field last year, hopefully this is the step in the right direction that everyone needs to make Chicago a more relevant in the league, because it's been like, it feels like it's been forever since Chicago was just like good, and so like I think people are wanting to see Chicago succeed, and hopefully if it happens under Ezra, I don't see how this ends up being a negative in any way, because you're talking about a market that's a team in a market that's too big to have a team that bad. And it's like, yeah, you want to try to change that.
Exactly. Yeah. And we know how competitive the Chicago sports, landscape is. You can't be out here being bad and irrelevant. But it's like, we just keep having this conversation about black head coaches, right? No matter the sport, no matter the league. So, we're having that with MLS now. And, it's up to us specifically, and, generally as a people, we got to keep bringing it up and keep talking about it and pointing it out, We've seen in recent years, we have seen black head coaches in recent years, but then it's been like European born guys, which nothing wrong with that, obviously, but it's like they have the extra cachet, I guess, of being a great player, like a Vieira and an Henry, a great player on that scale. But at least with Ezra, I think he played in MLS, right? And right, and then he came assistant in the league as well. So it's cool to see like somebody come through that pathway, a lot like Pineda. So it's like, I think that's part of the growth of the league as well. And yeah, I mean, like, the league has always been diverse from day one. So, we need to see that in the head coaching and in the administrative roles, and because we can do that too. Like, we're not just out here running around.
Yeah, there was a bit, not to do a quick sidebar, like, there's a video that I saw, I think it was like last week, where, there was a conversation being had as far as like this diversity in soccer, and like how it's kind of different from how we look at diversity here in the U.S. Because like in Europe, diversity is more broken down by ethnicity. So like, say if you're in England and you have a guy from France, races whatever, a guy from Belgium, races whatever, a guy from Italy, races whatever, a guy from Spain, races whatever. Like, technically, that's diverse. Whereas here, you're looking at it more from a race point of view. Is he black? Is he white? Like, you're not even worried about like, okay, like, where's he from? You're just like, okay, what color is he? And like what you were getting at, Mark, like for the number of black head coaches that were hit, because like right now that now makes 3. I think that's more than what we've ever had in the league. But at the same time, we've still yet to have a Black American head coach in
Exactly.
MLS, and that's something that I think that we're still need to work on, because we definitely want to make sure that that what we're developing here is shown and have that opportunity to prove itself as well.
Yeah, I think and that some of that comes back to, I think, benefit of the doubt. You know what I mean? Like, I think that they're like Black Americans who are just not getting the benefit of the doubt. And, not just in soccer, just like in general, like I think I've experienced that personally, even, whereas I'm looked at as different and maybe even favorably, so it's like, it's a very weird dynamic. And, I just wonder if you see that, at those levels. So at the end of the day, like, can we really trust the people doing the hiring, the owners, the people who run USSF and so on, I don't know. It doesn't make me feel quite comfortable.
What you think, Al?
I mean, it's very much systemic, when it comes to access to the game. Like you mentioned, diversity in Europe versus diversity here. Access to the game is very much along racial lines versus racial and class lines, which goes even deeper into socioeconomic stuff. And so that tends to skew more, white or Caucasian. So just the makeup of, the way that the like socioeconomical system is set up out here is gonna make that more of an uphill battle. And then also there's more competition for sports in general here. So typically a black player, as we all know, is gonna trend more basketball or American football. And then so that way so when it comes to that, you don't have as many people, taking time to become soccer coaches. You don't have as many Black Americans taking time to become soccer coaches. And then even those who are, they're not getting those looks because the system has been so set up. So now it's like homies hiring homies, and so it continues to recycle these same people. So it's definitely an uphill battle, and it's deeper than just, giving somebody a shot. Like it's like you got to blow the whole system up, essentially.
I mean, you're not wrong at all. I think that for like, and this is something that we used to talk about like a lot, like in our like early episodes, like for what it costs to become a Class A a Class A certified coach, a Class B, C, like people don't have like that kind of money just laying around. Like not a lot of people do. Like you're talking about like thousands of dollars, and considering the number of jobs out here that actually pay money, it's like, are you really getting that return, for the amount of money that you're spending? Because like there's only 29 teams right now in MLS, and then about almost 30 in USL Championship, and then you go down lower net, and it's like there's the money even there to get a proper return on for what you're paying for those certifications, and that's just something that in the end, like we already know that U.S. soccer is about getting paid whenever possible, but yeah, I think that as long as they have that, of course, it obviously just keeps a lot of people out that probably want to get in, but they just don't have the money to do it. And that's something that definitely needs to change sooner rather than later. But again, best of luck to Ezra. We hope we beat you sooner rather than later down here in Atlanta. And but yeah, we will get into that. And
so one thing before we kind of shift topics, like there's only one black coach in this country that has a pro level license, and that's Tony and Cian in Tulsa. One thing that these MLS teams should do is fund that licensing for these, like, it's not even just black coaches, but like any coach. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, all coaches who coach at the top level should have a pro license, or they should have access to a pro license. I feel like these clubs that they work for should fund that licensing, just like any other employer will kind of help fund like continuing education and will, like, you know, fund courses and stuff for you to kind of like grow your skills. Like, these teams should be doing the same thing. So there should be no reason why Ezra Hendrickson at the end of his tenure isn't a U.S. soccer pro licensed coach.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, clubs should be paying for that. So I think that's another thing that that can kind of like help with that discrepancy.
Yeah, definitely. There has to be an avenue where, like I did, like we're about like tuition reimbursement, shit like that. Like, where even if you are paying like out of pocket initially, it's like, yeah, like you're wherever you're at, like they recognize you're on your grind, trying to, you know, elevate yourself, and it's like, yeah, we'll invest that money right back into you, so that way you can get where you want to go and get where you want to be. And that's what the game's all about. I think, just, you know, we're all trying to pull each other up. But yeah, we will take a quick break, get a good word from our bros here at 2 Cents, and on the flip side, we will talk Messi's number 7 and pay tribute to some homies that we lost over the past week. So we will be right back. And we're back. Did y'all do any Black Friday shopping?
I did Black Friday selling.
Yeah, we did.
Speaking of which, bro, the sales are still active, so hit up 210 Sports.shop. Shameless plug, but it's all in the game.
Speaking of shopping, yeah, I got myself a 2 Cents sweatpants. I got myself a couple Legends hoodies from for the culture. So yeah, I will be repping the brand. It's soon come.
Well, actually, you did do some shopping. I got a couple for the culture t-shirts as well.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to the HBCU soccer shirt that I got in the mail as we speak. And matter of fact, something that I was going to hold on this until today. But you know what? Since we talk about shopping and everything, something that finally came in the mail after like ages and ages of waiting. Got me a Henny Derby sticker because I don't want to put Yo Gale Blast. Like, I've been trying to get one for like 5 years now, and like apparently every time we tried to send one, it kept getting lost in the mail. This one almost got lost in the mail too. But yeah, I finally got this one, and putting this on the laptop before I get on the road tomorrow. And shit, since we're already talking about, I'll go ahead and plug the shop real quick, because again, like, shout out to everybody that's been buying merch from us. You know, whether it's from 2 Cents, whether it's from FTC. Of course, the Black Friday sale's already done. Cyber Monday's already done, but we're still keeping it going for the rest of this week at ftcutd.shopify.com. With the promo code 15culture, get 15% off. We got new merch. Like I said, you know, we got the new essential t-shirts on sale. We got this is something that honestly has been close to my heart for quite a while, that I've been waiting to drop, is the FTC Cup 96 t-shirts based off the original MLS Cup logo from 1996. And because it's being the 25th anniversary of that MLS Cup. And then also the new Legends Formiga Eterna hoodie. For those of y'all that don't know, Formiga is a Brazilian midfielder that's literally been playing almost as long as Marc has been alive. And she just recently played her last game for Brazil. Played 234 caps for Brazil. Played in every Women's Olympics, played by all but the first Women's World Cup. She is a real, and authentic, and literal OG in this game. The Brazilian national team, they gave her a really dope send-off last week. And, of course, from the feedback that we've been getting on the socials, apparently there's hardly any Formiga merchandise out there whatsoever. So, whatever we could do to, do our little part to give her flowers, we want to make sure that you do that. Like I said, throughout this week, we have this hoodie will be out for this week only for pre-order. So make sure you get this before Sunday. We still have something after that, but like this special design just this week. That's it. Because y'all ain't about to wear me out before Christmas. Like, nah. But yes, make sure you jump on this. And like I said, you can also use that promo code 15Culture to get this. You get that, get the T-shirts, get the name sets, all that stuff. Support the brands. Make sure you hop with 2 Cents as well, because they got their fall winter line out right now. Get your layers up and everything. So, make sure you hop on that at 2cents.shop, 2centsfc.shop, and just support the fam. Like, so we're trying to grow this thing. So yeah, you gotta make sure we all look luxurious into these winter months, because it's cozy season, y'all. It's cozy season.
Cozy season for sure.
But and just one quick shout out real quick. I want to give a shout out to, of course, my fam real quick. Is like I'm not just wearing a United shirt just because it's the home team. This one's intentional because I'm wearing red for my great aunt Johnny Bell, who passed away. We got this thing that we do every year where it's like on her birthday, we all wear red in the family. So of course, her birthday was actually yesterday, Tuesday, but I want to do it on the podcast. So just want to give a shout out to like I said, Johnny Bell was a real classy lady, and just I miss her like crazy. Shout out to the fam and everything. But one thing that actually wait. You're right real quick. Because speaking of Reds,
Oh God, here we go.
I mean, I'm feeling pretty good about this Ralf Ragnar, even though I want to keep saying Ragnarok every time I see the name. But we have a interim head coach that we'll have for the rest of the season, and apparently we'll also be keep him on as a consultant for 2 years after that. For those of y'all who aren't familiar with Ralf Ragnar, he is a German head coach. Basically, like all the top German coaches that you know right now, Klopp, Tuchel, Nagelsmann. Like, yeah, if he ain't break them in directly, they all get the influences from this guy. So I think that, especially with how the game has kind of been trending in that German direction, I think that for us to kind of go to the source and hopefully get things back in order, I love it.
Yeah, I mean, so, he's made a couple questionable comments in the past, but aside from that, he definitely seems smart. I mean, like, he's an immediate upgrade on Ollie. Like, that's the biggest thing. The Ole thing went on way longer than it should have, and it finally ended. I'm mad we didn't get a crack at Ollie, but it is what it is. But no, I mean, he seems smart. You know what I mean? And like you said, so for example, Chelsea last year before they hired Tuchel actually talked to RANGNICK, and RANGNICK turned him down. So if Chelsea had gotten them, who knows where they would be right now? You know what I mean?
But look at it this way: if it was for RANGNICK, Tuchel would be working at a bar right now. Like, no, that's an actual true story. Like, he basically got Tuchel. He had retired as a player and was at his bar, and RANGNICK really got him back into the game and the coaching. And hey, what you see is basically a direct result with Chelsea right now, because y'all. I mean, personally, I am beginning to loathe Chelsea Man United games because they are always so damn boring.
Yeah. Oh, I've felt that way for a long time, honestly.
Because like it used to be like you just thought it was like maybe there's some Mourinho thing, but like it's no matter who's the coach, whether it's Tuchel, whether it's Ole, whether it's Carrick, whether it's Avram Graham, like whether it's Di Matteo. Yeah, you think I pulled that one out, did you? Like it's just like
yeah, no, that's true. I mean, I felt that way for a while. I think it's the sort of the big club effect, and I think specifically how these teams, how Man U and Chelsea tend to play, even at their best, and then like how they tend to play other big teams, especially at their best. Like, I think there's a lot that goes, to where it ends up being cagey. Occasionally, you get a lopsided result, but it ends up being like that type of thing.
That 4-0 one we got at the beginning of last season just feels like that was like ages ago, and just given how things have gone for both clubs, and I'm just like, like I could have got those. I could have done something else for those 2 hours. I really could have.
Yeah, I saw someone say that Man U played like a small team versus Chelsea. You agree?
I think for a lot of those like top six games, what you end up having is like nobody wants to give up ground, and you end up with just a bunch of nothing. I think that like the first big thing was Carrick benching Ronaldo, and I think that for the most part, it's not like it hurt. All things considered. And then also we got something out of Sancho. Like I said, he seems to be finally starting to pick things up. So, hopefully with like do we got y'all tomorrow, L, or is it this weekend?
It's tomorrow.
I think it's tomorrow.
Ah, damn. I don't know if
they got that Ali residual on them. They're not fully ingrained in the new system yet.
Oh man. I mean, because they haven't said yet whether or not he'll have his work visa in time yet to coach tomorrow. I don't know if he's already been doing training yet or not, but like I said, if of course y'all are looking like I said a couple of weeks ago, they weren't that hot. Now you're like y'all might have a little something.
Yeah, I mean we're a work in progress. We're getting it together.
See, L just keep it cool at all times. Like.
I got to like I can't like get too high or too low. So like it's not good for my mental health. I even kill when it comes to Arsenal.
I understand where El's coming from, and I've never been high on Arteta, but I think you look at the business that they did in the summer. There's a theme to it, right? Younger players, and aside from Odegaard, they're mainly focused on the defense. Even, the Ramsdale move, like, I didn't understand it. A lot of people criticized it. He's coming and done well. He's had, like, the same of the season so far. Sure. Yeah, so it's like, and as Chelsea has seen with Mendy, that goalkeeper makes a difference. So, I mean, Arsenal looking tough to beat right now, and that's a place to start considering, like, they've just been kind of drifting the last few years. Like, you need something to build on,
I mean, like, L's just, proving himself to be a prop because, we talked about this back a few months ago when the Spurs was up top. You see where things are now. That's what it is.
I mean, that wasn't hard to predict, though.
But yeah, of course, the big news this week was for a record 7th time. Leo Messi has won the Ballon d'Or, and I just don't see how this like this has to be a absolute popularity contest. But I'm like, I don't know if it's just the fact that they don't see anybody else as quite as marketable as Messi. Because I'm like, there are other guys who had an outstanding season. You had Conte, you had Jorginho, like you had Lewandowski. It's like that's 3 right there before you even get to Messi, who's all things considered, like has had especially since moving to PSG, it's been pretty pedestrian. So like you basically gone like I think he's had like maybe 2 goals so far. It's like I look at this from like a LeBron standpoint because like people will say he's the best player in the NBA at least up until this year, but but like he hasn't won an MVP since like 2013. But they'll keep saying like, yeah, best player this year, best player 2016, best player 2017, best player 2019, and it's like, and the problem there was that you kept comparing it to his old standards, and it's like, yeah, it's not quite what he was like in 2012, but it's like it's still better than what everybody else is doing, and it's like, but it wouldn't give him the trophy. And it's like here, there's a definite drop off with Messi from like 5-6 years ago, and yet he's still winning Ballon d'Or. And the sad part about it was that you had a guy like Lewandowski who was putting up Messi like numbers. Like he had over 50 goals on this year, won his league for Bayern up in the Bundesliga. And it's like that's apparently not enough because like I made the comparison on Twitter on Monday. 10 years ago, Messi had 91 goals, won La Liga, won Champions League, won Ballon d'Or. This year, he only had like 41 goals. Like I said, most of that was when he was with Barcelona. And like even like during the Copa America, you know, the main offensive weapon was Di Maria, you know, but of course all the credit went to Messi because like it's finally he finally got an international trophy for Argentina.
Right.
And it's like if you're comparing it against his own standards, like how can you give it to him? And it just doesn't make sense because it's not even a Messi Ronaldo thing this year. It's just like the field is looking better than what Messi's getting.
Man, shit is rigged. It's like being an Alabama quarterback. You automatically Heisman running. You know what I'm saying? Like same thing with Messi. Like, and you talk about marketability. You know, Luka Modric won a Ballon d'Or, so it can't be about marketability. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Lewandowski is arguably more marketable now, currently, than Messi is. He does TikToks and all kind of shit. Like he's
right.
He's actually pretty solid on the socials. You know, if you haven't done so already,
he definitely he was robbed last year because of COVID. Like he definitely should have won this year for sure. And they made up this little striker award just to give him because they weren't giving him the Ballon d'Or. So that's even more of a slap in the face. Like you make up this Google award to give me because you know you don't give Messi who had arguably a down couple years.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Because like
it's crazy.
Of course, I've mentioned my my gripes with the beautification of Leo Messi at times on this podcast because like he gets more credit than the guys who actually do the work because there's been too many instances where the players around him succeed and he just happens to credit from it because you went through the whole era of Xavi and Iniesta where not only were they winning with Barcelona, they're also winning with Spain without Messi. But yet, say nope, it's gotta be Messi. Then you have years where other guys from other clubs go and win in Europe or go deep in an international tournament like Wesley Sneijder back in 2010. Like he won Champions League with Inter that year, Inter Milan, and then went to the World Cup final. But yet he doesn't win it. Or like I said, you could look at Virgil van Dijk a couple years ago with Liverpool. Like there hasn't been a defender that's won in 15 years, and I'm like he probably gave you the best overall argument for a defender to win one, but yet nope, give it to Messi. Yep, because like the funny thing there was that the cameras caught this shot of Mbappe. I guess after the announcement, he's like, "This bitch," like, because I'm like, at this rate, you could like once Mbappe has officially taken over the world, they'll probably still be trying to get to Messi just because, and he'll be like retired. Like, nah, even though he's retired, we want to make sure he gets a proper send off and gets a goodbye Ballon d'Or. Like it'd be some dumb shit like that.
Yeah, I guess I don't know, man. The Messi Ballon d'Or thing boggles me. I mean, like, it just makes me not want to take it seriously. You know what I mean? And I mean, like all these awards in general, because like, okay, Striker of the Year might be a boo-boo award, but I'm salty that Mendy did not get Goalkeeper of the Year, man. Like,
yes,
he's been the best keeper overall in Europe this year. I mean, and it's like, and I do think he suffers from the perception that black keepers are not good with their feet. Like, I feel like that's the thing. I don't know if that's just me.
I don't care if he's this. Like, he's winning games. He's making saves. I'm like, what more do you want?
His distribution is good, though, is what I'm saying. It's like he is, like, really the complete thing. You know what I mean? Maybe Kepa's a little bit better at penalties, but, like, the way Chelsea plays, right, they don't create a lot of chances. So, a lot of the games are close, for most of the game. And, like, Mendy's making saves that Kepa wasn't. You know what I mean? So, like, when Chelsea would go down, like, 1-0 or, like, have a game tied or they were dominating, like, Mendy's making sure those shots don't go in. And, like, the whole defense is good, but it's really built around Mendy's abilities. And so, like, for him to not be, I don't know, that one bothered me for sure.
Yeah, I think that, like, of course, I used to have the inside joke on Twitter, like anytime that Kepa was starting last season and he would give up a goal, but like Mendy would have got that, like, because he's been that dude. And it's like, I get it with Donnarumma winning the Euros for Italy, but I'm like, he's hardly even playing right now for PSG. So it's like, and here you have a guy that's playing weekly, going lights out, and if me as a United fan can admit that Mendy's probably no less than the number 2 keeper in the world, and I wouldn't put Donnarumma ahead of him. Like, I just wouldn't. And he's just been lights out. He's been probably, aside from Conte, probably one of the biggest purchases that Chelsea's made in the past couple of years. It's like he's had that big of an impact, and for them to not recognize it, that's a bit of bullshit.
Yeah, man. Also, like, I don't know about these PSG players getting recognized for European awards.
For not even doing nothing.
It's like, y'all aren't playing anybody. You know what I mean? Like, not on a weekly basis. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That's part of the challenge. It's like the weekly, in and out.
But that's the thing. Like, even when they do play, I say Messi's hardly doing it. Like, of course, granted, this past week he had 3 assists and everything. But I'm like, that we're not looking for him to be that assist guy like that, even though he does that well. I'm like, you're there also to score goals, and he hasn't been doing that really at all since he's made the move. And yet you're just going to bypass all that and say, you know what he did this summer was enough, even though he didn't really do that much like that. Just his presence was enough for him to get this award. Like, yeah, you got to miss him with all that, because like, this year wasn't it, just like 2019 wasn't it, just like 2010 wasn't it. Like, if they really kept it a buck like that, Messi wouldn't have 7. Like I said, I'd probably say like at best 5, more than likely 4.
I mean, there's obvious bias. Aren't these awards like put on by the French Federation or something like that? So,
yes, France Magazine. France Football. But
there you go.
But I'm like, it's not even French. I'm like what does this all mean when it's like there are better players who have put in more work. Salah, like that. It's all been there. Like,
it's like the Forbes 30 under 30. Like you have to be. Those are all PR campaigns. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, people aren't like necessarily nominated to a degree for that stuff. It's all PR. So if you got the right PR, you can get the right award. it's not necessarily merit based all the time, especially when it comes to this type of stuff. It's just like buy a magazine,
Right.
It's a PR move.
I mean, at the very least, at least they got it away from FIFA because FIFA was really just blatant with it. But yeah, like at this point, yeah, I just don't see argument for that to where he would win it. It's just madness. But yeah, before we get up and to it tonight, I just wanted to. I saw this crazy scoreline yesterday that I really could not believe when I saw it. The England women beating Latvia 20-0.
Mm-hmm.
For y'all math majors out there, that's like a goal every 4.5 minutes. I don't know. I don't know if the Latvia women are full-time professional players. No, I don't judge them for whatever they do. I can tell you this: soccer might not be for you. Because you're giving up that many goals. I'm just gonna just assume that they just pulled you off the street and say, "Hey, we just need you real quick. All of our women are in quarantine, so we just need somebody. Like, are you down?" And that's what happened. Because 20-0. That's a lot. That's a lot. But just to kind of bring things down just a small bit before we go up to the down course, we lost two. We had two major losses out this past week. First one being right after we recorded last week was Young Dolph, rapper out of Memphis, got shot. I think in a
candy
restaurant.
store, right?
Yeah.
It was a cookie shop.
Yeah, and I'm usually I'm more of an old school Memphis rap, 3-6 and all that. So like I really wasn't up on Young Dolph like that, but I felt this more just as a grown man, because I'm like, it's not like, of course, you think Young Dolph, you're thinking like somebody that might be like 21, 22. I'm like, this dude's 36, married, got kids, like he's a grown man, and I'm like, you don't know like how the streets might catch up with you and everything, but it's just really unfortunate for a guy like him that seemed to be, from what I saw, trying to do his best to get his music up, do right for his family, and the streets came and got him. Like, that's just is absolutely wild. I don't know if y'all did y'all listen to more Young Dolph like that?
I mean, not really, but just the fact that like he's the year younger than me. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
Like, I couldn't imagine like going out like that. Feel me? So condolences to his family. One thing that I was happy to hear though, is that unlike, most rappers out there, like he, in some way, shape or form, set his family up for, generational wealth. Like he would buy his kids a foreclosure every year for their birthday. You know what I'm saying? Like he owned over 100 properties. He was an entrepreneur as well. So like he had other residual income streams coming in. So hopefully his family can still eat off of that stuff even when he's gone. They're not relying on his music to survive. So that's one, I guess, silver lining to this tragic event. But still,
like he's doing grown man shit. Like he's trying to just put down for his family, and
but these kids don't got a daddy no more. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So,
yeah.
But
that's the roughest part.
Yeah, man. And then of course the big shocker that came over earlier this week was Virgil Abloh, fashion designer, of course, famous for the Off-White brand. He's a head designer at Louis Vuitton. Like, of course, we've kind of seen his growth, almost from day one. Like, just with how he made Off-White into a major movement, of course, associated with Kanye, and then taking that to a whole new level with Louis Vuitton. He almost caused a resurgence in popularity with the Jordan 1s, and especially after it just happened to coincide with Chadwick Boseman's birthday over the weekend. Like, I know that we have this about trying to like fight these battles privately, these cancer battles, but I'm just like, yo, you have these public figures. I'm not gonna say that they owe us like that, but at the same time, if we know that you're hurting, I think that there's something that's unsaid about just that amount of public support that's out there waiting for someone that's going through something like this. And I had a conversation on the socials that same day. I think one of the fears was like, just I guess cancer becoming his identity if it had gotten out publicly. But I'm like, it doesn't have to be his identity because kind of like how what happened with Chadwick Boseman, even though he was fighting that battle privately, he was still working. And I think that, and I think back with Stuart Scott, because he went through two cancer battles, but he was still working. He was still going as long as he could. And it doesn't have to necessarily be your identity as far as who you are and the work that you do, but you have a base out here that a role for you. I've seen the comments on the socials and just how much of a impact this man had. He's only a couple of years older than us. He's only 41. I'm like, dude,
you're right.
This just it hits in a way, especially as we get up there close to that age, and you're just like, man, that 41 is not old. It's not. It's just not.
Yeah. I mean, that's a tricky one because, I'm a private person as well. So I probably wouldn't be broadcasting that. As long as the people who are close to him knew, you know what I'm saying? I think that's all that matters. It's not, they don't owe that to the public.
Right.
To disclose that kind of stuff. As long as, his close family and friends knew about it and, it didn't come, I don't know the right way to say it. It didn't come as a shock to them.
Right.
Then I feel like I'm okay with it, but definitely, R.I.P. Virgil. I never owned any of his clothes, but definitely picked up his coffee table book when he had the exhibit at the High.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I admire his hustle in the way he kind of finessed the fashion game. And, as an architect, classically trained architect, coming in and, applying those characteristics to the fashion game and being able to make it to the top, definitely an admirable feat.
You got anything else, Mark?
No, I mean, not really anything to add to what you guys have said. I mean, it's one of those things that just shocks you, it's just so out of the blue. And I don't like saying this necessarily, but it's he looks so young and it's you don't expect somebody you just don't expect him to go, but that's just, that's how death works, unfortunately. It's just, it's just your time is your time. But it's just, it's so cool that he made such a big impact, in 40 years, you know what I mean? I would love to make half that impact by the time I'm 40, so, he lived life to the fullest.
Well, don't worry. She got some time. We're gonna help you get there, man. So you just stay tuned on that. But yeah, man. Just we want to give our thoughts to loved it both Young Dolph and Virgil, and I know Louis Vuitton had a tribute show in Miami yesterday. Paying tribute to the legacy of Virgil Abloh, and just it's gone way too soon. Way too soon. I wanted to make sure that I got that in before we go up and 2 up and 2 down. Now I'm trying to, so we're getting into the holiday season, so I want to hopefully get the vibes for 2 up and 2 down to be positive, full of light, full of love and all that good stuff. So Mean Marc, let's lay it in there, right?
2 up, 2 down. All right, so I actually got 2 this time.
Okay.
So for my first up is gonna be NWSL all season craziness. My one that stood out to me, Sarah Gordon going to LA. Ooh.
Yeah. That's a big shock. I don't know, she's from Chicago, so I'm like, damn, I'll just, we talked about this in recent weeks. how the teams are good for just trading someone, all willy nilly, like all in just in a retaliatory way.
Yes, right.
And anyone that's been following Sarah on social knows that she's pretty vocal on social issues, but she had never really voiced out the issues that was going on with the Red Stars that came out last week. And I'm just wondering if this is any type of response to that, because like you got a hometown woman putting on for her team and probably one of the best players in the league, and all of a sudden she's going to LA, and of course I don't know if y'all saw the USL Championship final over the weekend. She worked the sideline. I'm like, when she goes to LA, she ain't coming back, because trust me, that face is made for TV, made for.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, I agree. Like, and I really hope that it wasn't, that she had a choice in it, that she wants to be in LA. But I don't know. I mean, like, LA seems good so far in terms of like what they're building and like the approach to the players themselves and so on. And Lord knows NWSL needs that change. So I hope that Sarah has a better experience in LA along with Kristen. And, shout out to all our sisters, man. For down in the league, there's that Chicago situation. Like Rory Dames basically resigning right after the cup was over. Like that's crazy, and it's just such a fitting cap for what we saw in NWSL this year. We got to get these problematic people out of here, man. Like, it's just not okay. For my second up, a FA Cup final, Arsenal versus Chelsea women on Sunday.
Okay.
Yeah. That's two of the best teams, the two best teams in England. That should be a lot of fun. Yeah. And then for my second down, I don't know if y'all noticed this, but I noticed this with Chelsea, and I think other Premier League clubs as well. They were like tweeting support for LGBTQ plus community.
Yeah, Laces Out campaign this week was this past weekend. Yeah,
right. But they had to shut off the comments, and if you go into the quote tweets, it's a lot of negative reactions. So it's just it always shocks me, like, seeing homophobia on that level. It's just like, I feel like we're at least past that bit of it, but clearly we're not. Obviously that's my own bubble, but it's just like, it's jarring when you see that, or when you see like a big account feeling like they have to shut off the comments because they know what's coming. Like,
change comes with people kicking and screaming. So I'm not incredibly shocked, but of course, when you see it in real time, you just it can definitely kind of just blow your mind when you see how that all goes down. But yeah. So you want to flip the coin? Elle, you want to go? Or you want me to go?
I can go.
All
right. So my first up, really only have one up this week. And that's our new merch collection. So it's been months in the making. Definitely try something different and new. Got a whole new production process, everything. So leveling up the quality across the board when it comes to our garment selection, the production, how it's made, all that stuff. So it's been not really a labor of love, but it's been a fun process, and looking forward to continuing to do more innovative things with our merch. So that's our first up, or that's our up. And then our down is, the first one is free Ari Lennox. She was arrested in Amsterdam. I think it was today or yesterday. She claims that she was racially profiled. And her reaction to that, I guess, caused some issue, and she ended up arrested. Hopefully she's out by now. But free Ari Lennox, the original Shea Butter baby. And then the second down is this damn cold. I had the cold for a week. I think I'm at the tail end of it. When you get real coffee and all that stuff, it's almost done. So hopefully, by next week I could be straight. But yeah, this damn cold is kicking my ass. So that's my second down.
my biggest up this week, actually, because hopefully y'all get this. It'll be on time on Thursday. I'll be on the road to see my grandma. I haven't seen my grandma in over 2 years. Well before the summer 2019, before the pandemic. She's getting up there in age. She's like 81. So, obviously I want to maximize the opportunities that I have with her while she's still here. Obviously the pandemic's hit us all in different ways. So like me and my cousins and my aunt, we're going up there just to kind of just clean up, her house because, sitting at home in the pandemic at her age probably hasn't done her house a whole lot of good at all. So like we're going to just get as much as we can in and, get her in a comfortable living space so she can get around like she wants to and everything. So, it would be good to see her making that long ass drive to Eastern North Carolina because there's no quick ass way to get out there. Not looking forward to that part, but definitely looking forward to the angle. So looking forward to that tomorrow. Second up is the Ahmaud Arbery verdict that came on this past weekend, last week. I guess we had Kyle Rittenhouse last week, and we got, and that is kind of a makeup with Ahmaud Arbery. The three men who were accused in this murder, that they got found guilty of all but like 3 charges, if I'm not mistaken. But basically, they're all going to be in jail for a long ass time. So, and I think the primary selling Trevor Gregory, if I'm not mistaken. I think that's what his name was. Yeah, he's got found guilty on all charges, and he's up for the death penalty. So, yeah, at least there's some justice in the world because that one was pretty blatant. And like, you had no way of proving that this guy was. You thought that he had done something, but you had no proof of it, so you decided to just kill him. Like, nothing about that made sense. And if of course, for all y'all watching, following other sports, college football is a mess right now. We so many coaching changes that just came just like out of the blue. You had Lincoln Riley go to USC from Oklahoma. You had Brian Kelly go from Notre Dame to LSU. Of course, my guys, we finally got rid of Mullen and we hired Billy Napier out of Louisiana, who's been doing a lot of good work down there. So I am mildly encouraged as far as that goes. I'm just glad that we did not hire Lane Kiffin because that would have absolutely drove me up the wall. But yeah, I think that as the world of college football continues to just drive itself into oblivion. One shout out to Coach Tony for Michigan finally beating Ohio State. It took them like 30 years to finally do it, but it finally happened. I was hoping to get them on, so I was going to give them confetti and all that stuff. But shout out to Coach Tony. Shout out to Michigan. I even changed the icon on the Twitter account to Michigan colors for the weekend. I was like, yeah, you deserve that. But yeah, I think that it's absolutely wild as how the justification that kind of comes in just making these leaps. I just know that I'm just glad that players can move freely like they want to, because I'm like, if coaches can do this, players should be able to as well. And
Absolutely.
But yeah, like that, it's definitely been a crazy past few days in that regard. Like, I don't know if y'all even saw like the deal that Lincoln Riley got at USC. Like they bought his houses in Oklahoma for like $500,000 over the market rate. They gave him access to the private jet 24/7. Got a crib out in LA. I'm like, they about to set this dude up for life. And I'm like, secure your bag. I can't knock that.
Mm-hmm.
But of course, at the same time, it's like, yeah, you're leaving. Because like, especially like in Brian Kelly's case, there's actually a video out there right now from just last week where he's like, yeah, places where you think they're going to go, end up going elsewhere. Like he was just giving you all the clues right there that because he tried to make y'all think that he wasn't going to leave. He's like, nah, I'm out. Like y'all just don't know it yet. So,
Yeah.
it's fun times in college football. But yeah, I really don't have any downs, especially since the Suns are just out of control right now. 17 straight. I'm doing pretty good, man. So like, hopefully you guys are as well. Of course, we'll be back since '92, bro. I've been in this.
I've never heard you mention the Suns before.
So you haven't been listening to all the episodes then, because like I did.
Oh,
you see what I'm doing out here?
Because mind you, I said, because it just so happens that my cousin is the head coach of the Suns right now. So I'm like, I can't miss right now with the Suns. Like I said, you talk about 17 straight, handling the dubs. I'm like, like right now we're good right now. I know y'all had y'all's big for y'all starting hot, but you got to go ahead and take care of that last night. You got to handle that. But yeah, we'll see how this season goes. We'll see how this weekend goes with the conference finals. We'll be back next week, previewing MLS Cup final. So hopefully it won't be in Yankee Stadium, but we'll see how that goes. But in the meantime, you can catch some social FTC,
UTD,
Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, FTC UTD Pod on TikTok, and make sure you follow 2 Cents FC at 2 Cents FC, and like I said, make sure you follow the fam, Shea Butter, Unfiltered Rakaya, Can I Kick It? Like I said, the whole fam. We end this. Hey, that Kaya, Shea Butter, Diaspora show, that better happen sooner rather than later. But yeah, man, enjoy yourself this weekend, y'all. Like I said, hopefully, we're gonna have a good time this weekend and enjoy these games. But for Mark, L, for Yogi, for Kaya, for Scott, for Sills, for Coach, Mayor, TK, Chris, for Ty. I think I got everybody this time. We all in this. Culture's real. Culture's everywhere. We will see y'all soon.
And forget Malik and CJ, who's changed crew.
And a Moby. We got you too.
Moby too. Moby.
we will see y'all soon. We out.
FTC UTD